It is not that people who work for animals care less about humans. It is precisely because they care more that they fight against injustice.
When I was a doctor in India, I have seen a lot of cases of rabies amongst the poor people. Trust me, if we have seen one patient die of rabies, that's one too many.
There were millions of street dogs that were being killed every year, and they used to be beaten with iron rods, or they'd be electrocuted, or they would be fed poison on the street.
That's the bad news. The good news? People throughout India fighting for animals and their welfare. Pittsburgh artist Laurel Herman first visited India to study the country's traditional system of medicine.
I initially went to India to study holistic medicine. I love the ancient systems of medicine in Asia, and it was a rare opportunity.
But a 3-week stay expanded to 3 months when she instantly fell in love with the dogs of the street. Laurel embarked on a journey that continues to this day, seeking out people who go to extraordinary lengths to ease the plight of the street dog. She also made certain that some dog stories would have happy endings.
The people I met in India who helped the street dogs, they're heroes. They sacrifice themselves in ways that we in the U.S. could barely imagine.
She made it her mission to tell the story of what she calls the Great Indian Dog, taking hundreds of photographs and hiring videographers to record images of a complex challenge that is not unique to India, the overpopulation of dogs and cats.
It's not so long ago that dogs were running around loose across United States streets. In India, there are numerous animal welfare advocates who want to adopt the types of programs that we have in the States, the spaying and neutering, animal birth control, the adopting pets, and rabies vaccinations. They just need a little help.
Just crossing the street can be a harrowing exercise.
And these dogs are bewildered. They try to get across the street, and they get caught between lanes of traffic.
Laurel began feeding a family of dogs every day and gained the trust of the mother of 3 pups, a sickly dog she named Lily.
Lily lived in a garbage dump and was very fearful, and when I first began to feed her, would shy away, wouldn't even let me go near her.
In her search for a home for Lily, she met Leela, a journalist who converted her home in Pune into a sanctuary.
I started 40 years ago. What motivated me is that people are generally very cruel towards animals.
It's a home for more than 300 animals, a refuge from the uncertainty of the street. In a rapidly developing nation with so many human needs, animal shelters are rare.
My house has literally gone to dogs.
Even the bookshelves have been converted into bunk beds. Though veterinary care at the shelter is rudimentary by Western standards, it's the only care most of these dogs will ever receive. But a crisis is looming.
I'm worried about the future, greatly worried. There'll be a time when I will not exist, when I'll have to go and say goodbye to everybody. Then who will look after my animals? Who will give them the love that I've given them so far?
One of the heroes I met in India is a young businessman.
Businessman by day, Superman at night. He sells beautiful garments. Then at his own peril, late at night, delivers food and medicine to more than 70 dogs.
So he'll spend 6-7 hours into the wee hours of night going with his motorcycle through the streets of India with meticulously wrapped food.
He says he does it because no one else will. Many of the dogs, he adds, don't come for food but affection, to be petted and loved for a few precious moments.
And the heartbreak is that many of the dogs that he's cared for have been poisoned. People poison dogs in India because there's such an overpopulation. And he's held 50 or 60 of them in his arms as they've died.
It's a routine he has followed for more than 5 years.
And he will do this for the rest of his life, he said, because he loves the dogs and worries about them so much. One of the things that I knew that I had to do when I was in India was meet Manica Gandhi. She is the voice for animals in Asia.
The outspoken daughter-in-law of late Prime Minister Indira Gandhi is a passionate defender of animals, founder of People for Animals, India's largest animal welfare organization. Manica Gandhi has gained international respect.
Why are we importing dogs from America and Germany and foreign dogs when our own Indian dogs are on the road, and all it needs is 1 in 50 families to adopt a dog?
The Indian and the American discuss the problem of unwanted animals in both countries.
You get them for Christmas, you throw them out at Easter, they go to a shelter, within 28 days they're put to sleep, which is a euphemism for killing. Now America's killing 9 million, so your concept is much worse than ours.
She built an animal hospital in memory of her late husband Sanjay, the same year he died in a plane crash when she was just 23.
Manica says, "It is not that people who work for animals care less about humans. It is precisely because they care more that they fight against injustice. They recognize that violence and cruelty to anyone degrades all."
This hospital in Kolhapur responds to the ultimate human need. Cancer patients gather in the first-floor waiting room as Dr. Suraj Pawar eats a hasty breakfast in the third-floor apartment he shares with his parents, wife, and son, and a dog with a rags-to-riches story. More on that in a moment. Meanwhile, Suraj and his wife, Reshma, also a surgeon, have another long day ahead.
Yes, I saw that patient the other day.
With their busy schedule, the two surgeons never considered owning a pet, let alone a street dog. So when the American visitor found a parched little puppy on the side of the road, she named her Shanti, the Indian word for peace, and convinced her doctor friend to take her home with him.
Suraj's wife was very upset, and his family did not want a street dog.
We don't have much time for our son and time to give to our family. And to have an added responsibility of a pet was a bit difficult thing for me to accept.
And my wife Reshma and my parents, all of them were aghast. They were not very happy to have such a dirty puppy at home.
That was then, and this is now. The former street dog has not only grown into a healthy pet, she also has grown in the affections of her adoptive family.
I became really attached to her. The love that she shows in her eyes when we talk to her, and the way she comes and cuddles next to you, and nobody can take her place.
She's the one who really takes me out of this world of mine of cancer surgery and cancer treatment. And I'm really, get totally relaxed while playing with her, and she gives me a lot of peace and tranquility. And the happiness that I see on my son's face really gives me a lot of pleasure and a lot of satisfaction.
Secure in the knowledge that Shanti now had a home, Laurel returned to her own pets in Pittsburgh. But there was still a loose string dangling, a nagging thought that would not go away. Lily. When changing circumstances for her caretakers in India forced a move, it appeared she would wind up back on the street. But fate and a multitude of phone calls intervened.
Hi, Chinny. How's Lily?
Hi, Laurel. Lily is fine.
Dr. Chinny Krishna is the owner of Aspic Engineering, an international manufacturing firm which opens its doors to street dogs. He's also chairman of an animal welfare organization founded by his parents, Blue Cross of India. When Laurel contacted him for advice on what to do with Lily, she learned that Blue Cross is at the forefront of a growing effort to spay and neuter dogs and cats and vaccinate them against rabies, a deadly disease still feared in India. Under the influence of Blue Cross, India became the first nation in the world to abolish the euthanasia of animals. Many others followed, but the United States is not among them.
The States has much to learn from India, and India has much to learn from the States. Together, we could find a solution.
And Lily's solution? The dog who once dodged cars gets a ride to the airport and a flight from Pune to Dr. Chinny's hometown of Chennai. The plan? She would stay there until other arrangements are made. But that's before she fell in love with Chinny's wife, Nandita.
So Lily adopted me rather than my adopting Lily, and then I put a mattress for her next to my bed. She sleeps on it, and she's with me all the time.
Lily is now an esteemed member of a prominent family, a four-legged ambassador for adoption, just like Shanti, but 10 million more still wait for happy endings of their own. Making progress one home at a time with the street dogs of India. I'm Dave Crawley for OnQ.